Hey everyone, and welcome to May's edition of Board Game Buys. So this is a pretty self-explanatory series where I talk about all the games that I've acquired and added to my shelves over the last 30 days or so. We've got quite a few games here to talk about, not a tremendous amount, but there is quite a good variety of them. We've got some very light party games all the way up to some pretty heavy Euros. So let's get started with Paolo Mori's Caesar. So I've actually already played this one quite a few times and already uploaded my review for this one, which was very positive. Definitely a candidate for my two-player game of the year. So this is like the spiritual successor, or at least a sister game or a partner game to Paolo Mori's Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg was like a tug-of-war style game. This one is a more simple, stripped-back area majority game for only 2 players. As simple as it gets, you're just drawing these tokens from your bag and then deploying them onto these different sections. But these tokens have 2 different numbers on them, and they're going to kind of impeach on 2 different regions at a time. So you've got that trade-off there. Very, very clean, and I just recommend you go check out my review because it is very positive, and I definitely rate this one. That is Caesar, Seize Rome in 20 minutes. I've also picked up a copy of Sleuth, which is actually considered one of the purest and one of the classic deduction games. So I do like deduction, and I thought I was doing myself a disservice if I did not at least try Sleuth. So Sleuth is a real, it really is that kind of next step on from a game like Clue or Cluedo if you live in Europe, as you are trying to work out the missing gem from amongst all these cards, and you're going to do that by playing these preset questions and asking another person of them. But each time you do that, everybody at the table is getting some kind of information. Very thinky game. I have played this one only once so far, so I will hold back on my thoughts, and I want to try it at the different player counts because it does, I believe it scales from 3 to 7, so quite a wide range there. But that is Sleuth. Really enjoying getting the classics into my collection recently. Also picked up a copy of Get On Board, New York and London. So this is actually the re-implementation of Sashi's Let's Make a Bus Route, which is a Japanese game that is quite hard to get in the European market. It's pretty much like Gold Dust and you have to import a copy. But this is the wider released version by Yellow, and I believe it's pretty much the same game. It's a flip and right style game where you are basically trying to pick up these different passengers and then drop them off onto these different locations on this communal board. So you actually have some player interaction here, and you can step on each other's toes and make people accrue traffic, which will give them negative points. And you're actually physically building up your route here. So it's got that level of interaction which you don't normally have in flip and right style games. I believe by this time this video is out, my review would have been released, so go and check that one out. That is Get On Board. I also picked up a copy of Switch and Signal. So this is actually a cooperative train logistics style game, as you are working together trying to deposit these different goods cubes from these different cities and then into Marseille here. Or there is a reverse side of the board which is a bit more complex. You want to get particular goods to specific locations. But all you're going to do on this game is you're going to be playing these cards. There's 3 different types, one of which is to flip these little black discs to these different train spots to create new routes, and the other one is to flip the red lights into green lights. However, there is only a limited amount on the board, so you need to very carefully puzzle things around. Each turn, the trains are moving by themselves, as well as you giving them a push yourself, and it's just a way to get all these cubes deposited before the time runs out, so it's a real efficiency puzzle. That is Switch and Signal. Definitely a different genre of game there, a cooperative logistics game. Definitely right up my alley, that is Switch and Signal. I also picked up another classic or classically considered game. This is Acquire. So Acquire is considered one of the original kind of stocks and shares style game. I don't know the intricacies of the rules, but it definitely does appeal to me because it seems quite simple. I believe you're investing in these companies can merge with each other. So it's just all about making profit. And those style of games have really been kind of hitting the spot for me recently. And much like Sleuth, I want to try the games that are the foundations and the kind of forefathers of so many games that have been released, in more recent years, and people still consider Acquire to be one of the best. So again, I want to improve my repertoire and my knowledge of game design, and I think I need to play Acquire in order to do that. So that's going from an older game straight into a brand new game with Carnegie, which has just been fulfilled from Kickstarter. This is from Javier Jorge, who is one of the co-designers from Noir, which is one of my favourite games. This is another economic style game, one that's definitely on the heavier end on the Euro spectrum. There's no images on the back there. But again, I've not played this one yet, so I'm just learning my way through the rules. You know what, so far it doesn't seem terribly complex, but it does seem like there's some good decisions to be made here. So that's all I pretty much know at the moment, but this is definitely one of my most anticipated games of the year. I like the theme, I like this kind of age of industry, I like the designer, in fact I love the designer, and I also generally enjoy Quinid games. So seems like a recipe for success here, and just very excited to finally get that one actually played. So that is Carnegie. Also bought myself a copy of Longshot, the dice game, which I've probably covered quite a lot by the time this video comes out, because I actually played this game before I purchased it for myself, because I enjoyed it that much. I played a friend's copy, and straight away I ordered myself a copy, hence why this has come after I've already given some initial impressions on my previous month in review. But this is a racing and betting style game, and I like it because I've ended up buying a copy after playing it. So that is Longshot, the dice game. Also picked up a copy of Trails of Tucana. So kind of simple roll and write games have been kind of tickling an itch for me recently. I seem to be enjoying them quite a lot, and I know this is quite widely considered to be a good one. This is by Eilif Svensson and Christian Otsby, who have made some tremendous designs and kind of fly under the radar as being great designers. They've made games such as I'm going blank now, but games such as Capital Lux 2 Generations, The Magnificent, and many other very successful games, or highly rated games. But I like the idea of them doing a simple roll and write game. You're just connecting these different hexes from each other, getting points in different ways. Again, you can see here that's in seal, or in shrink still, so I don't quite know again the exact rules, but actually quite excited to play that one. That is Trails of Tucana. Staying on that theme with a lighter roll and write game, I have Rustling Leaves here, which is another game by Paolo Mori, who designed Caesar, which I talked about earlier. This one I pretty much picked up on a hunch. It was dirt cheap on sale on a website. I think it was like £10. So I'm just willing to engage and see what this game has to offer. I think it's got moderately positive reviews, and who knows, this one could be a good one. And it certainly looks different to a lot of other roll and write games. Seems like it has this spatial puzzle thing going on. So yeah, who knows, that could be a sleeper hit. That is Rustling Leaves by Paolo Mori. Another train game next with Spike. So this was actually picked up by my brother. I don't know much about the gameplay at all, if anything. I actually thought this game was quite well reviewed from other kind of content creators and reviewers that I've heard. So who knows, this game could have some promise. I seem to be getting more into train games, which is a bit of a it seems to be a path that a lot of gamers go down. But we shall see if Spike is any good. So that is Spike. I can't really say much more on that one. Also picked up a copy of Detective Club and the expansion Detective Club Noir. So this is a party game which is a spin on the Dixit system, as you have those really colourful cards, really creative, like whimsical cards. And this one, you are basically trying to, or somebody is going to pick a couple of cards relating to a word, then everybody else is trying to do the same thing. However, one person amongst the pack doesn't actually know the words, and they have to kind of blag their way and bluff their way into convincing everybody else that they did know the word, when in reality they didn't. So it's a game that requires you to think on your feet, and that's pretty much the extent of the game. It's a bit annoying that the game's in a tin, because they don't store terribly well. But hey, it's relatively affordable, and I've been really excited to try this one for quite some time. So that is Detective Club, and the expansion, I believe, is simply just more cards and a couple of new notebooks. So that's quite nice. No fiddly rules, and you don't want to convolute this game at all. So that is Detective Club Noir expansion. We've got 3 more games left, the first of which is Kala Mala, which is a game that I've kind of hunted high and low for quite some time. I managed to find a gentleman who was selling this one at a games convention I was going to, so that was quite nice to be able to pick that one up in person. This is a pretty dry area majority style game, but this is actually by Fabio Lopiano, who's really kind of hit his stride at the moment. Made games such as Merv, Zapotec, and some other games as well. I believe he's involved in the new Autobahn game. So this guy seems to be knowing what he's doing. And Kala Mala was almost like the boost, or the game that got his footing onto the scene. So hopefully it's going to be good. Certainly looks like my style of game. We also picked up a copy, and this is a true Grail game for me, of St. Petersburg. So this is the second edition, I believe. I'm pretty sure this is the second edition. And yeah, this game is long out of print. It's I did have to pay a little bit extra to get a copy of it, but you know what? If it's a game that I'm exactly looking for, then I'm happy to do that. This is kind of like an engine tableau builder. There's some added rules and mechanisms into the game from the original one, such as this market. I've only dipped into the rules so far. Again, I don't know exactly how it plays, but hey, I'm very excited to get this one because I know a lot of kind of more traditional Eurogamers think this game is excellent, so I'm always willing to try the classics. So that is St. Petersburg. And finally, the only other game that we picked up or got on Kickstarter was Hidden Leaders. You can see here that I don't have the physical copy, and that is because I've already sold the game. I did not go on with this one at all. I did release a review, but I wasn't happy with the review because I was a bit too brutal on that one. But I will touch on that in more detail in my monthly roundup. So that's it, really. That's all the games I picked up during the month. So good variation here, and hopefully there's something here that piques your interest and that you're looking forward to hearing my thoughts on. As always, be sure to hit like and subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment to see let me know what you've picked up this month. And alternatively, if you want to go the extra step, be sure to check out my Patreon page and check out kienda.co.uk to show you your support, and use my discount code if you wish to do so. But for everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye bye.